You're listening to Depth of Fields with Jennifer Pan.
Hey, welcome to this new series called From Chaos to Clarity. For anyone who has ever walked out of a relationship feeling confused, disoriented, or like they just don't fully understand themselves anymore, because narcissistic dynamics don't just break your heart, they break your sense of reality. They leave you asking questions like, was it real? Was I too much? Was it my fault? How did it start so beautifully and end up hurting so deeply? And that's what the series is about, not just identifying narcissism, but recovering from it, rebuilding after it, coming back to yourself after the chaos. So if you're listening to this while healing, while untangling, while trying to make sense of what happened, you're in the right place. Today's episode is the beginning of that journey. And I want to start with one sentence that holds the entire emotional weight of the love bombing phase. And this is an example of what you might say. I moved over 1,000 miles to be closer to him. Whew. Just sit with that. Because if you've lived it, you know what that felt like. It felt like a movie. It felt like fate. It felt like finally. And that's why it hurts so much when the movie suddenly turns into something else halfway through. This episode is called The Hook Was Never Love, It Was Power. So let's start at the beginning, because love bombing is sneaky. It doesn't show up wearing a warning label. It shows up dressed like romance. Love bombing is emotional acceleration. It's when someone tries to fast forward intimacy before trust has been built. And in the beginning, it can sound like, I never felt this way before. You're different from anyone I ever met. I think you're the one. And listen, that kind of attention is intoxicating. It makes you feel chosen. It makes you feel special. But healthy love unfolds. Love bombing rushes. Love bombers come in hot. You barely know them, but suddenly it's, I can't stop thinking about you. This feels like destiny. I've never connected like this. And you're sitting there thinking, wow, finally someone who sees me. But intensity is not intimacy. Fireworks are beautiful, but they disappear fast. Fireworks don't build homes, they light up the sky and vanish. That's what love bombing does. In the beginning, you were always there. Good morning texts, all day check ins, late night calls, long emotional messages about how special you are. It feels like consistency, but it's not consistency. It's saturation. They fill up your emotional space so quickly that you don't have room to think. They fast forward the fantasy, trips you'll take, moving in, marriage, a life plan, and you're thinking, you've been talking for weeks, but they make it sound like fate. I just know you're my person. You know me so well. This feels amazing. This and that and the other. Healthy love says, let's see. Love bombing says, let's lock this in right now. It's not, you look nice today. It's, you're perfection. You're an angel. You're so beautiful. You're the most stunning woman I've ever seen. And at first, you blush, but over time, you realize they're not seeing you. They're idolizing you. You become a character in their fantasy. Love bombing doesn't love you, it loves the version of you it invented. They overshare early. Trauma stories, depression, sickness, so many different types of stories and scenarios that went on in their own journey. Tears, exes who destroy them. It creates premature closeness, and suddenly you feel responsible for them. Expensive gifts, grand declarations, huge surprises, and the world says, wow, this is love. But the question is it love or is it leverage? Because gifts or promises to see you, promises of plans become emotional debt. In the beginning, you are flawless, perfect, everything they've ever wanted. But the pedestal is not honor. It's a setup, because no one can stay perfect forever, and the moment you become human, the fall begins. Love bombing isn't the start of love, it's the start of a cycle. Idealization, devalue, discard, and repeat. So when you say, he was so excited that a woman like me would move across the country to be with me, that excitement wasn't about partnership. It wasn't about what the move represented. That is the hook. He wasn't excited about you as a person. He was excited about the prestige and the power your move represented. In a narcissistic mind, having a successful woman uproot her life to be closer to him is the ultimate ego fix. It made him feel powerful, like he was the prize. And that's the part that stings, because you thought the move was love, but for him, the move was proof of control. Now, this doesn't just have to be moving, it could also be changing jobs to accommodate his schedule. It could be sacrificing hobbies that you've done on your whole life for him. Large life changes for him. And that's the part that stings, because you thought it was love. But for him, it was proof of control. That's why the script flipped once you actually changed, once you actually moved. The chase ended. For a narcissist, the excitement is conquest. As long as you were far away or doing your thing, you were a goal. Once you were there, once you were available, you were now the supply. A supply is not cherished. Supply is used. Then comes the pivot, the depression stories, the tragedy, the loss, the this and that, the breakups, all the things. Work was this, hardship of that. A way to keep you close enough to stay hooked, but far enough away that he didn't have to show up. A healthy partner doesn't collapse the moment you arrive. A healthy partner doesn't punish closeness. That's not love. That's avoidance. He bragged about you being established because it made him look good, but because you were there, your success triggered him. If you were doing big things, it made his life feel small. So he sought attention elsewhere to feel big again. Not because you weren't enough, but because his ego is a bottomless pit. Your success didn't intimidate a healthy man. It exposed an unhealthy one. He said he wanted an established woman, someone who has her life together, someone who has this or that. Then once he got one, suddenly you were too much, too physical, too fast. That is gaslighting. Contradiction as control. So you never feel secure, because insecurity keeps you chasing. You could move 1,000 miles and he would still find a way to make you feel like you hadn't done enough. That was always the plan. Let's land here. Your move wasn't a mistake. It was a revelation. It showed you the truth faster, and more importantly, it became the launch pad for your life. You built, you created, you grew completely without him. He wanted to be the center of your story, but he is not. He is a chapter, not the ending. He tried to make your big move feel like a burden, when it was actually a massive compliment. You didn't move because you were weak. You moved because you believed in love. And the fact that he exploited that says nothing about your worth. It says everything about his emptiness. The hook was never love, it was power. And once you see that, you're free. Before we close, I want to leave you with something. Because if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, I understand what happened, but another part of you is still wondering, why do I miss them? Why does the beginning still haunt me? That's not weakness, that's biology. In next week's episode, we're going to talk about what happens after the hook. Why your body can crave someone your mind knows was unsafe. Why it feels like withdrawal. And how healing begins, not just emotionally, but neurologically. This is From Chaos to Clarity, and you're closer than you think. Real love does not punish you for showing up.